Hello, everyone. You've tuned into Business Today, and I'm Aakanksha. Today, we have with us a very special guest, Purushottam Anand. He's the founder of Crypto Legal and was formerly head of compliance at EY. And today, we are going to talk to him about the impact of crypto taxation on the Indian investors. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir. So, let's just dive into the questions. We know that the recent Terra Luna crash, it has impacted the Indian investors as well, not just global investors. Millions of dollars of wealth was wiped out, but the Indian investors were also impacted by this. Could you please shed some light on how the Indian investors were impacted by the Terra Luna crash?
I think Indian investors were impacted just like any other investor because see the way that these cryptocurrency projects work, like they are inherently global in nature. So whenever there is a new crypto project, then you'd see investors across the world coming there and then investing in the project. And it was a promising project, by the very fact that it was actually in the top five in terms of the total capital market, that it had. So once the project went bad, of course, everyone lost money, involving so many Indians who had invested and were promising something from the project.
And so, could you talk about the tax implications of the Terra Luna crash on Indian investors?
Yes. So as we know, in the recent tax provision which has been introduced does not really provide for any set off. Now that becomes very crucial in cases like these where one promising cryptocurrency where you invest almost goes to zero because there is a total say 95-100% loss, and then you are not even able to set off this transaction with the other cryptocurrency trades that you are doing. So for example, even if the same person has invested in say Bitcoin and there if he earns 100% profit, he's not really able to set off the loss that he has incurred for Terra Luna. So that becomes a little problematic. There is another aspect which is very interesting here, and right now we don't know how exactly the tax department will treat this transaction, and that is the airdrop situation and the way that the airdrop is actually designed by the Terra team. So, I'll just tell you a bit about how the airdrop is happening, and then we'll see what would be the tax implications. So, you know, Terra Luna 2, which is basically the version 2 of the initial coin, which is now being called Luna Classic, is being airdropped to everyone who actually held the initial, original version 1 of Luna. Now, the problem is the moment that we call that airdrop, it comes, for the tax department, it may come across as if there is something which is being received without any consideration, right? Because this is something which is being airdropped without any active cost of acquisition. In this case also, now assume the situation that the department says this is a fresh airdrop without any cost, then everyone will have to pay 30% tax on the equivalent amount of whatever Terra Luna they are receiving. But in fact, the new airdrops which are coming to people who initially held Luna version 1 is kind of a replacement of version 1 because the initial version did not work out. And then, the project had to do a hard fork and then launch a new version of the token. So in my understanding, like to be fair and to get reasonable tax, the appropriate situation or approach should be that you take the initial cost of the version 1 acquisition, whatever is the money that investor incurred in acquiring that money, and consider this version 2 as a replacement of the initial version 1 token which was there. But we don't know yet basically what is going to be the approach.
So, like you said, so there's lack of clarity when it comes to the treatment of different types of crypto incomes or, transactions like staking or be it mining, crypto mining, or be it airdrops in this case. So, do you think there needs to be more clarity from the government's side or from the tax department's side when it comes to such transactions?
Yes, certainly. Like there is more clarity required, and I think just after the budget, even the CBDT chairman actually mentioned that they will come up with some guidelines. So I'm sure they will release it, in due time, because right now there are so many type of transactions where, of course, people are taking certain approach, they are taking some view, but it would be great to hear from the department and we get some clarity so that at least we know what is the approach we should take for the taxation.
Yes, sir, that's true. So, is there something you would like to, suggest to the investors who held Terra Luna? How could they treat this investment which they had?
I don't think there is much that they can do right now, and like this is also actually a kind of the whole crash gives you a lesson that you need to keep in mind when you invest in any subsequent project. Because the point is there are many people who actually believed in the project. The project was trying something which was innovative, that whole algorithmic stablecoin concept. But at the same time, the point is that in most of the crypto projects, it is extremely difficult to figure out who are the people responsible. Is because there is no company like that. There would be few directors, and then those would be held responsible. So apart from say Terra Luna, even for other projects, people need to be aware. People need to do their own research and find out, what is the team? Is there a company behind it? Where are they incorporated? What are the ideas that they are working on? So the point is you'll have to do your own research, because this is a kind of market where it's very difficult to hold someone accountable and actually go after them and then try to recover something.
Thank you so much, sir. That was extremely insightful. I hope we get to interact again, but in better times. Thank you, sir.
Certainly.
Thank you for taking
Thank
our
you so
time.
much.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.